I wanted to write and continue to write. And actually, I called Jeff up and said, would you have the library think about being willing to just sponsor me as kind of a pass-through agent if I try to get some other grants so I continue writing. And he made the decision to, with the board obviously, to simply award me a grant itself. So, I mean, it's really been the commitment of Laman Library to do this. I really didn't expect this to come about, but I think he took that opportunity to make this an annual program. So, and that's what is the most exciting thing about this, is there's so many writers in Arkansas that I think deserve this award, and now they'll have an opportunity to get it and continue writing. But I mean, this has been very important to me. I mean, I was actually had applied for a legal job. If I hadn't gotten this grant, I probably wouldn't have the time to devote the kind of attention to the fire that I'm doing now.
So at this point, you have a publisher for this?
No, I don't have a publisher yet, but I mean, frankly, I don't have any doubt that a university press will look forward to getting a well-written book about this fire, because issues like this are kind of the bread and butter of academic presses. So that's not a concern of mine.
Yeah. So, if I understand correctly, then you were going to originally your plan was to apply for grants yourself, and then just have the library be the nonprofit, which would be
right.
correct? And then I just want to be sure I got those.
Yeah, you need to talk to Jeff about that process of.
That's fine.
But I mean, I think he, you should talk to him. But I mean, I don't know who. He, I think, tried to get some money himself from other sources, and it's a tough time in this economy and for grants. And I'd already received grants before, so I mean, there's no question that the Laman Library has made this possible and is funding it. And but I think it's a really good thing they're doing, and that's what libraries, I think, should do, is support not only readers but writers as well.
How long do you think that this process will take for publication?
I'm always reluctant to try to answer that. It always takes me longer to write nonfiction because you never know when to quit researching. And I hope to have it done in another year or two, but I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see.
Okay, so you're going to make that $10,000 stretch out for a while.
Well, I mean, I hope that, I'm on Social Security now. I hope my 401k will go back up. But it's important to put in as much time as needed to do this right, and I'm taking this book more seriously probably than any of the ones that I've written, because I'm probably putting myself and my family into this book. And I've got 3 granddaughters in Virginia that I want to read this book someday, and it's an important project for me.
How is this book going to be different than the other ones that you've done?
It is going to be, I use the word holistic. One of the things that is different now, I think we're beginning to see a more holistic approach to history. Traditionally, in the last 50 years, you've had a very kind of narrow focus by academic historians on the past. And part of that has been motivated, in my opinion, by this desire to be able to prove things beyond a shadow of a doubt. For example, when people write books on slavery, when academic historians write books on slavery today, there's no mention of psychology in there. And part of it is because of the reputation of psychology as a soft science. I don't think you can dismiss psychology and sociology and ethics and religion and from the past. I think we have to look at it and try to understand why things happened as they did. And if we're not able to prove things beyond a shadow of a doubt, that doesn't mean that we're not writing truthfully about these events. But I mean, a lot of academic historians, in my opinion, today basically just won't look at motivation in terms of psychology, and I think that's wrong, and I think I've demonstrated that. And Jeff mentioned one of the awards that I won. I wrote a whole article about this issue that won an award from the Arkansas History Association. So there's a lot more to write about than the Civil War in Arkansas, and too often that's what we've done, and kind of turned away from looking at some of these harder issues, even though you can't prove motivation beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Now, you mentioned in your comments that you have, with this award, there are no preconditions, and is that part of what you're talking about now, the fact that you can write without any agenda or any...
Yeah, I mean, I've fortunately been very lucky to receive a grant, from the Central Arkansas Library System. I had, what I'm trying to say about this is that I find that there frankly is more freedom, emotional freedom, in all kinds of ways by being able to get a grant from a library than being an academic who teaches history at anywhere. You are able to say exactly what you want. You don't have the kind of pressure that I talked about to conform. I mean, and that's really a part of the whole academic process, I think. And so, I have really complete freedom in writing whatever I want to. But it's also, as I said, a real responsibility to be as honest and candid as I can possibly be.
Okay. Well, thank you.